sports reporter. Turn it all the way up.
Everybody, listen up. Everybody, stop what you're doing. And listen to
Alphamale.
Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, yes, you can hear me. Yes, you can hear me, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? You already know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male, coming through your, what do we call it? Your TV screens, your YouTube channels, all the different places you may see me. You may see this logo, ladies and gentlemen. What's going on? It is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. Thank you all for joining me today. It is Wednesday, 2023. What is it? December 15th? No, December 13th, 2023. Super excited for today. Super excited because it is what? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, what? 10 more sleeps until Christmas arrives. So hopefully everybody is excited. I was looking in the distance for the camera. I mean, for the calendar. But anyway, yeah, man, Christmas is on the way. So if you wrote your list and all that other good jazz, you know, make sure that you do that. And if you left some cookies out for Santa Claus, you know, but we all know that Santa Claus is really just the Amazon man every week. We all know that Santa Claus is just the guy that comes from Amazon and drops the packages off. We all know that your mama was ordering those gifts earlier on in the year. So we're not going to hold that against you all. Like I said, man, happy holidays. Let me go ahead and switch out my signage. There you go. Look at that. The Alpha Male all written in cursive and nice calligraphied and stuff like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. Listen, guys, make sure that you guys follow me on all of my social media pages. Let me go ahead and shift my camera. There we go. So make sure you guys follow me on everything, okay? Follow me on everything. First, you guys got to follow me on Alpha Male on IG. It's Alpha Male Sports, all one word. Alpha Male Sports, all one word. Then you can rap with me over on IG on my personal page. If you want to get to me personally, you can definitely reach out to me. Radio, the number 6 _ Raheem. Radio, the number 6 _ Raheem is right there in the bottom. All right. Then, of course, check me out on my YouTube. This is also going live on my YouTube right now. So make sure that you guys check in with me on my YouTube at Alpha Male Sports 88, at Alpha Male Sports 88. Make sure you guys check with me there. And of course, we got a lot of people, man, that also comes to the show. We got Gertrude House, we got the Ball Strikers, man, and we have Dwayne Walker, Jarvis Davis, man. We got a lot of people that have come through Alpha Male Sports, and so I'm thankful for that. For those of you who didn't see the interview that I conducted with former UGA cornerback and former Browns cornerback DeMario Mentor, I'm going to replay that again. We just get into the whole college football playoff thing, and we talk about all of that, and you know, his opinion as to why Georgia may not have made it in, my opinion as to why I feel like Florida State should be in, and you know, we just dive into that. So definitely make sure that you guys stay tuned for that. But you know, it's just been a good day. It's been crisp, been cool, been very cool in the morning, but in the afternoons it is, you know, kind of come up to something that's better, you know, something that people are kind of able to kind of, you know, work around and stuff. So I'm excited for that. Make sure that you guys just, you know, stay warm. Stay warm. It's getting cold, but trust me, it's going to be some time. You know, we're in Georgia. If you guys don't know where I am, my home base is Georgia. So, you know, when I'm here, you know, I told you guys I'm working in the golf and learning how to play golf. And, you know, I will say my threshold of coldness, if you will, is pretty low. So I can get out there. You know, I think I can still get out there mid-December going into January. I think I can get out there. You dig? So I would be pretty excited if anybody's up for some golf. You know what I'm saying? Holla at your boy. You dig what I'm saying? Like I said before, you guys can holler at me on my personal page on IG, radio, the number 6 _ Raheem. So make sure you guys do that. Because listen, if y'all want to hit up the golf course, you know what I'm saying? Play 9. I say 9 sometimes because 18, I ain't going to hold you. I get tired around the 9th hole. So, you know, you can't go wrong with 9. You know, if you do 18, you know, you get around the 9th hole and be like, you want to go again? Yeah, I want to go again too. That's how I roll. Anyway, I don't think there's a right or wrong way to operate in golf. And make sure that you guys also follow make sure that you guys also follow my friend Darren Owens over there with the Ball Strikers. Make sure that you guys follow them as well. Like I said, he's been teaching me golf. You can look at all my previous interviews with him, and he's just been going over things about golf. And trust me, I talk to him just about every other day, and he's just been giving me tips as time is going on. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. It's been a minute since I've talked to you guys recently. What's been going on? The play-in tournament has happened, and we have now crowned a champion. So major shouts out to LeBron James and the LA Lakers. Shouts out to those guys for winning the first ever NBA Cup or NBA in-season tournament. Major shouts out to those guys. But really, I want to give a major shout out to Anthony Davis. We all know that LeBron James is the MVP. He's the first ever MVP. Take that, Jordan. Anyway, whatever. But LeBron James, he's the very first MVP of the in-season tournament, the NBA Cup, things of that such. But I do want to point out that AD was balling. AD was balling. 41 points, 20 rebounds. I mean, that's more than impressive. For me, the Los Angeles Lakers are tied with the Boston Celtics for most championships in NBA history, which is, I think, what is it? Six, I think. 6 or 7, something like that, or I don't know. I just know that in the NBA, the Boston Celtics and the LA Lakers control, both poles of Atlanta. I mean, not Atlanta, but of the NBA. It's like the NBA is a polarized, or like it's on a scale. You dig? Here's LA on this end, here's Boston on this end. Everywhere else is meeting in the middle. So, of course, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Boston Celtics they're tied for the most championships in NBA history. But last Saturday night, the Los Angeles Lakers, they won the first ever NBA in-season tournament. That's LeBron James. If you guys don't see, major shouts out to him. Major shouts out to those guys for winning the first ever in-season tournament. Like I said, LeBron James, he, of course, turned out to be the MVP for that. And then, like I said, I was more impressed with Davis with 40 points, 20 rebounds. I'm sorry, here are the stats: 40 points, 20 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks. That's impressive. I really feel like, let's give him a round of applause real quick, because I feel like he should be the MVP but let's just be honest. LeBron James in his late, what is he, 40 something now? I know some time, because when I first heard about LeBron, I was in middle school anyway. But yeah, he should be around like 40 something or close to 40. And for him to be so dominant, right? For LeBron James to be so dominant in the in-season tournament or the NBA play-in, that's pretty cool. And then the fact that, he was able to look out for a lot of his younger first year, second year role players that don't necessarily make a lot of money or make the same type of money that he does. The checks are totally different. Major shouts out to those guys for getting that as well. So again, I'm very excited. Let me take this off real quick. There we go. Like I said, I'm very excited for that, and major shouts out to them. But go win it now. Go win it all. This is what I was saying with the in-season tournament. It's great, and I get it. I totally understand it now. I was looking at it through a different lens at the time. As a selfish competitor, I'm like, nah, I don't want no in the middle of the season trophy. Screw that. I want to win the trophy. And so my assessment of all of that is, hopefully the LA Lakers, or hopefully this could be a precursor or a foreshadowing as to what the NBA Finals will look like come later on this season. It's been said that, the teams that were in the final 2-3 games, those are the ones to look out for. So I'm really excited for it. Last night in the NBA, really quickly, just to go down the list, you had Boston taking on Cleveland. Boston won by 7 points, 120-113. LA, they did take a loss to the Dallas Mavericks, 125-127. Denver, they beat the Chicago Bulls, 114-106. Golden State, they fell to the Phoenix Suns, 116-119. And the Clippers, they beat the Sacramento Kings, 119-99. Now, we got to talk about Draymond. I've said here that I love Draymond. I like his intensity. I like how he controls the team. I love how he he's not afraid to be the enforcer. He's not afraid to be the guy to get a spark for his team. And sometimes in basketball, you may need that guy. Say, for instance, the Bulls had Dennis Rodman. The Pistons um, had Bill Laimbeer. Um, the Pistons had Rasheed Wallace at a certain time. You dig? So when you think about enforcers, Draymond definitely goes in that category, in my opinion. If there were a Mount Rushmore of enforcers, I highly, highly doubt that Draymond Green doesn't make that list. I don't think Draymond doesn't make that monument. You dig what I'm saying? If there's a Mount Rushmore for enforcers, Draymond Green is one of those guys that should be there. It's hands down. I've seen where he has, he might have taken a foul or he might have taken a charge, and you just got everybody riled up on your team. You dig? But I was sitting with my wife. We was watching the game last night and we were talking, and we came up with something that we didn't come up with anything. This is our assessment. He's too old for that. Let me be more specific. He's too old for that shit, okay? Because at a certain point in the NBA, well, not in the NBA, but just in professional sports, the trouble that Golden State goes through for Draymond or with Draymond, I don't think necessarily equates anymore. What I mean is, at this point in his career, I just don't think the fouls, the flagrant fouls, the ejections, I don't think, not that it's not worth it, but it's not worth it for Golden State anymore. We need you on the court. Golden State needs them on the court. Last night, Draymond Green, he got ejected by this egregious foul. I want you guys to check this out.
Oh, man.
Well, that's going to be a flagrant.
Yep.
That was, of course, a flagrant foul, but watch it again. I want to point something out real quick.
Oh, man.
Well, that's going to be a flagrant.
Yep.
So here's my deal. I don't mind intensity. I don't mind there being some type of I just don't mind you going for the win, going for the goal, like doing whatever it is that is within your power to ensure victory for your team. But when you try to piss on me and tell me it's raining, I get mad. Here's why. You cannot tell me that Draymond did not want to hit him in the face. You cannot tell me that Draymond did not want to do something. Obviously, this guy has been giving Draymond some work. Obviously, this guy has been, making it to where Draymond has to do a lot more work. In the NBA or in basketball, you can frustrate somebody to no avail. I mean, you can really piss somebody off to the point where they get irritated. I mean, Draymond Green, 17 minutes on the court, 0 for 2 on 3-pointers, 1 for 3 from field goals, got 2 rebounds, just 2 rebounds, no assists, no steals, no blocks, 3 turnovers, and 2 points. So obviously Draymond Green was frustrated. Obviously he was frustrated. But to do that, it's unacceptable. It is highly unacceptable, and I would not be surprised if Draymond were to get fined for that. I just don't. I don't think that it would be too, And Draymond did say that he apologized later on down the line, but saying sorry after the fact does kind of tarnish it, in my honest opinion. It just kind of tarnishes it. Draymond just really needs to reevaluate how he does certain things, because he's getting to a certain point in his career where he's older. He's the veteran. He should know better. And as you teach, guys coming along, he's starting to become more intimidating than he is an actually good basketball player. If you get what I'm saying, he's becoming more intimidating. I don't know if you saw it, if you've seen the clip circulating around social media where, one of the players, I think it was Kuminga, coming off the court after a timeout, obviously something good for the Golden State Warriors, and he literally pushes the dog mess out of him. Now I know what that feel is like. He's excited. Yeah, he did what I needed him to do, or he did something that is for the team, blah, 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 whatever. But damn, dude, like just tone it down just a tad. Just tone it down, like at least just a smidge. Just a smidge. That's my only request. That's my only request. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. It is me, he is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. Of course, it is Wednesday. Happy to be here with you all. Who with me? Huh? Who with me Wednesdays? That's what it is. Who with me Wednesdays? Super excited. Super excited. Gotta jump into the college football, well, right now college basketball is starting to take over, or starting to, come into fruition. The season has already been underway. You've seen certain games going on. We've seen certain things going on. But super excited for LeBron James Jr., Bronny, over the weekend. Bronny James, he finally got his opportunity. He finally got his start. He finally got, well, not start. I'm sorry, not his start, but he did. He got back on the court. As we can remember, LeBron James Jr., he suffered cardiac arrest back in July of this year. Finally, Bronny James is back on the court. You can see him here against Long Beach Poly? No, it was Long Beach State. Long Beach Poly is the high school. Not gonna lie, looks just like his dad. Not gonna lie, he looks just like his dad. And I think that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. I think that's more than impressive. I think that is cool that he's back on the court. He's doing what he loves, and ironically, what had happened was even LeBron came out and said that that's why you see the MVP type performances that he's been giving lately. That's why you see LeBron James giving 110% each play, because like Draymond he's getting old as well. LeBron is getting old. And I know it's been flirted around that he's trying to wait it out for his son. I know that he's kind of mentioned that, hey, I want to make sure that I'm here for my boy, X, Y, and Z. So, I mean, with all of that, it's great, and again, I'm excited for Bronny for being, back on the court. Major shouts out to him. Give him a round of applause. Super excited. Super excited. Super excited for Bronny James. I don't know why. I just had not a brain fart, but just, yeah, not a brain fart. Just, you just get quiet after a while. Anyway, we're segueing right now. Well, yeah, major shouts out to Bronny James. But another person that I definitely want to give a bittersweet shout out to is, of course, we're sticking to college football, college basketball, all matters college right now. A bittersweet send off for Kenneth Berry, former Benedict College head coach. Really quickly, because I got two clips here. I want to play the first clip. This was an interview that I had with Kenneth Berry earlier this year. And just this is the beauty of what South Carolina State is going to get from Benedict this upcoming year.
Render the outcome and just be 1-0 and be great every day. And we feel like if we can do that, man, we like our chances at the end. So, we had that philosophy the whole entire year. Just be 1-0 every day. And then each week, we didn't worry about like mid-season. I guess we were around 5-0. We didn't, when people asked us those questions, we didn't really say 5-0. We just said 1-0, baby. Just trying to be 1-0 every week. And then when we got into the playoffs, man, ultimately at the end of the day, it was a lot of learning lessons.
Of course, that was Kenneth Berry. Yeah, that's the man. That's the man. But yeah, that was the interview from earlier this year with Kenneth Berry. We were just talking about what he had expected for the Benedict College Tigers this season. Of course, they had another early exit, unfortunately, second round exit to not Wingate, but Lenore Ryan this year. And unfortunately, that was the last game. Kenneth Berry ended his career at Benedict, or ended his tenure at Benedict, with a 27-7 record. 2 SIAC championships, 2 national championship appearances, or I'm sorry, 2 D2 playoff appearances, 2 HBCU Black College National Championships, unofficial. Just got to point that out. We've all dubbed the Celebration Bowl as the national championship game for HBCUs. Definitely would like to see that opened up to the CIAA and the SIAC, but that's another conversation for another day. But here's Coach Kenneth Berry in his interview, not interview, but his very first speech as the new head coach for the South Carolina State Bulldogs, as he replaces Coach Buddy Pugh for the head coaching position.
All right, when you're following 2 living legends, it's no easy task. I mean, I tell you what. But I have that what I call mailman mentality. See, regardless of what, the mailman, that's what he got to do. He got to go to work. Rain, sleet, or snow, the mailman got to go to work. You're going to expect that package, the mailman got to go to work. So when you're following 2 living legends, man, you got to be able to roll up your sleeves, all right, and get ready to put your feet to the ground, all right? And like I tell our players, buckle up your chin strap, bite down on your mouthpiece, and let's get ready to rock and roll. It's a great day to be a Bulldog. I'm excited to be here, and let's go get it. Let's go.
All right, Kenneth Berry, that exactly. Give him a round of applause. Major shout out, man. Major shout out to Coach Kenneth Berry. Again, just super excited for him to be in that space, to be there with, just be in that space, man. Major shouts out to him. I'm fortunate enough to have gotten an interview with him. Hopefully I can get another one. I would not mind getting another interview with him as as a former coach of Benedict. I feel like, hey, it'd be great to get a convo with him. But the question I would love to ask, can we get a Benedict College, South Carolina State game going within the next 2 to 3 years? Huh? Can we do that? Because I will go. Listen, I will travel to those games. Let's do a home and home situation. Coach Kenneth Berry, this message is to you. Let's do a home and home situation. Let's do Benedict College, South Carolina State. We ain't that far from each other. Okay, I had the opportunity to travel up to South Carolina State as a Benedict College athlete. We took on South Carolina State in South Carolina State, and trust me, we took an ass whooping. But this is a different Benedict, and this is a totally different South Carolina State. So I would be more than excited to see if this is possible. If we could possibly get, Coach Kenneth Berry, on the horn. If we could talk to Coach Kenneth Berry, if we can potentially get. I want to pose that question to him. Could we get South Carolina State? Could we get Benedict College together? And, let's get a classic going. I would love that. Who else would love that? Show of hands. Oh, too many. Oh, y'all clapping. Okay, show of hands. Exactly. That's what I'm shooting for. That's what I would love. But you already know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. I'm he that they call the Alpha Male, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I told y'all I was going to do it. If you weren't here for the interview between myself and Demario Mentor, former UGA cornerback, former Browns cornerback, and we just, like I said, we just talked about it. We discussed it. We divulged into it, and we really just let our opinions flow in regards to this year's college football playoffs. Michigan, Washington, Alabama, Texas. Those are the 4 teams. But what happened to Florida State? Yeah, Georgia lost the last game of the season, but they were 27-0 or 24-0. They won 2 straight seasons. 3 straight seasons. I'm sorry. 2 national championships back to back. So you mean to tell me they don't deserve to get in either? Thank God next year we're going to expand it to 12 teams, because I'm telling you, I'm tired of this conversation. But here's my conversation with Demario Mentor. Y'all stay tuned, people. Yes, 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 yes. You already know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male. All right. Now, you've heard all the conversation earlier this week. You've heard everybody talk about it. I finally have the opportunity to not only just talk about it, but I got somebody that's going to be able to lend just a tad bit of some information towards it. Or at least give their opinion. Now, as you can see behind me, I said Florida State should be in the playoffs. I didn't say that Florida State should be number one. I didn't say that Florida State is the best team in the nation. I just said Florida State should be in the college football playoffs. And that's just how I feel. But now I want to go to somebody that has he wasn't in the college football playoffs, but he played it around the time of the BCS. For those of you who remember the early 19 no, not early 1900s, the late 1900s, and you all know about the BCS, you know what I mean? The last quarterback to win the BCS was Jameis Winston when he was playing for, ironically, Florida State. So we want to go ahead and jump right into it really quickly. I have close friend of mine, 701 representative, Coach DeMario Mentor. How are you doing, good sir? I'm glad to see you. Good to see
Always,
you back in the building.
always a pleasure, sir. Always a pleasure to be on with you.
For sure, for sure. Now we got to get into this, man, because it's been bothering me. I've been trying to hold it in, and now we're at the point now we got to talk about it. So
Yes, sir.
you being a Georgia alum, how do you feel about the outcome of the college football playoffs?
We put it in other people's hands. We should have just handled business. If we just would have handled business, we wouldn't even been in this situation from the jump. So we would have went out there, made the field goal, had a couple of stops on defense, not get blown up. We'd have been in there. So
Yeah,
but
for
as far
sure.
as the decision, we knew it was gonna be wild from already. From
Mhm.
week 2, week 3, we knew it was gonna be a wild decision. So to
Mhm.
let it play out how it did, I am shocked. I'm not gonna lie, I am shocked. I thought Florida State would have been in there too because they went undefeated, ACC champions. But I can understand why they didn't put it in though because of the quarterback. Their quarterback's down. That's a whole different team than they are with that number 2 and number 3 quarterback.
Now, before I go any further, guys, I want to make sure that we give just a little bit of some backstory real quick. Of course, you guys remember DeMario Mentor. He was here last year when Georgia won the second national championship. We talked about that, him being an alumni. And now he is, of course, a coach. I want to say congratulations on the season, first of all.
Appreciate you.
And you guys got a freaking stud at running back there that just
Yes, sir.
crushed every
Yes,
record,
yes,
you know.
yes.
So major shouts out to you guys, man. Give them a round of applause.
Appreciate
That's
that.
pretty big. That's pretty
Yeah,
big. But getting back into this, I understand what you're saying, but let's go back to Georgia because I feel like Georgia still one loss still shouldn't, you know what I mean? I understand, but let's really dig into this because there was a lot of conversation this week about well they shouldn't, well they shouldn't, well they shouldn't. Now we know that next year the field is going to expand to 12 teams,
right.
which is going to be exponentially great.
Mm-hmm.
But this year, Georgia still, I get it, but if we're going on style points, because that's what it sounds like. You
Yeah.
didn't get blown out.
Mm-hmm.
You were in a neutral site, so it was no home and home.
Mm-hmm.
It was a championship caliber game.
Right.
And this is only on style points, not on face value, but on style points. I mean, you still defend it. I still feel you should defend the championship.
I totally agree. But it
Right.
was just from my point of view looking in, they were saying this though from day one, from us not having the best schedule or one of the hardest schedules in college football. So I think that was always a knock against us this year. A couple of teams that we faced earlier wasn't ranked. And that was always the perception that we wasn't playing a hard enough schedule from this year. So
Yeah,
and I
UT
think that just came
Martin,
back in.
Ball State. Yeah,
Yeah,
I get it.
I think that came
But
back and bit us. So
yeah, that came back to bite you guys in the tail. I could see that, but and I'm gonna be bringing up a few of the other not options, but I'm gonna bring up some other scenarios because again, it just don't sit right with me to
right.
leave a let's go down the list. To leave a conference champion, an undefeated conference champion, and in my honest opinion, regardless of the quarterback, let's roll out who you got. You know what I mean? What we say, we not reload. We not
We're not rebuilding.
we reloading.
Reloading. Right.
We reloading. You know what I mean?
If they would have showed up better in the game in the SEC championship, I think yes, they would have put them in there if they would have performed better. But I think the committee was just looking at, hey, they got down to their second and third quarterback. That's not going to bring fans. That's not going to bring money to the table. No, we need a better matchup than this. And then guess what? Who's the darlings of college football? All right, Texas being in there makes college football better. The name Texas just makes college football better. So I think that's what they were thinking too.
But now again, I'm gonna my light's gonna be ticking off every time you say something because it's just like Bama lost to Texas at home. Now, granted, Texas should have been like that they should be in there regardless. You know Texas? What I mean? And yeah, Texas definitely should have been in there. Okay. If you beat you're a conference champion. You beat somebody who later became a conference champion, and they beat the number one team. So, in my opinion, that boosts your resume to the umpteenth power. Again, in my opinion, I feel like Alabama should not have been in there
early.
Again, Alabama shouldn't have gotten in my opinion.
You don't think so? But you don't think Alabama should have got in at all?
No. And just as well as we're looking at the Florida State fans and saying, maybe next year, guys, it's okay. It's the Nick Saban Invitational. You know, it's that way of thinking that's just like, are we kidding? Case in point, and I've been saying this all week. It's like last year if we go into the NFC Championship and Brock Purdy is out and they're down to Deebo Samuels as their quarterback. And let's just say, for instance, they won. Let's just say, for shits and giggles, they beat Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Well, how would we feel if we went over to San Francisco and said, hey, you know what? Y'all ain't gonna bring enough money. Y'all ain't gonna. We can't deal with it. So let's just go ahead and give it to Philadelphia. Let them do it. Jalen Hurts is still healthy. You know what I mean? It's just, I get it, but at the same time, that's bull jive. That's bull jive.
I totally agree with you. But that's where we at. That is where we at. Like, this is what we signed up for. Right. This is what we signed up for a couple of years ago. We signed up for this. So, did it hurt? Yeah, it hurt. It hurt. But we didn't handle business. That's what I go back to, and that's what I can lean on. Like, we just didn't handle business as a team. But Alabama, they beat us in the SEC, man. Like, that's the criteria. That's one of the major criteria. So, what is there to argue? I guess.
Now, another thing that I've ran into, and I want to say EJ Manuel, former Florida State quarterback, actually brought it up and made sense about it. He was saying that, well, the notion around again is that everybody looks at the SEC as the pinnacle.
Right.
And it's agreeable. It is the darling of college football. Mm-hmm. But again, Florida State, they went 2-0 against SEC schools. The ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference, went 6-4 against SEC schools. And then at this point, going into the playoffs as well as the bowl season, we'll be looking at more SEC and ACC matchups, as well as the performance of the conference in general versus its other competition.
Right.
So again, so now it brings me to this question: Has the SEC lost its luster to a degree? Because I know as long as Saban's there, it's going to be looked at as the darling. But you know, I don't think anybody's scared of the SEC as much as they used to be. This is speaking to an SEC guy. You know,
we are top heavy. We are top heavy. But with a couple of schools coming over, we are going back to be a powerhouse. Like, it's going to be a fight next year. It's going to be up and down a who's who of games, competition, talent. Um, the SEC will be a very, very great thing to look at next year with all games being on the schedule. So I think we're back. Everybody wants to come, like you said, the Pinnacle. They joined up because we are that good, and they know that SEC brings fame.
And NFL talent. I can't
Yes.
lie. I mean, most
So
NFL talent come from either Bama or Georgia. The entire Philadelphia football team looks like a
like
Georgia and or Alabama game. I'm just
yeah,
saying.
the UGA Eagles. That's how we do it, you know.
The UGA Eagles.
And so hey, that's how we
I
do it.
like that. Now,
Um,
looking into next week's game, well, not next week, it's December 30th. You guys taking on Florida State.
yes.
Are you overconfident going into this game?
I'm not overconfident, but I am confident. You know, we're going to beat them. We're going to beat them. Give us 2 touchdowns.
Okay, all right, a 2 touchdown. Now, last year I did ask if he were to what is it give us a prediction. So this year we are looking at Georgia taking on Florida State. All right, about a 2 touchdown lead. I'll say that Florida State covers.
What's
At
the
the
point?
basis of it, I would say at least a 7 point. 7 point. I think they'll come within 7 points.
Nah,
I think they'll be within a 7 point gap. I think they have a lot to prove for
I,
one,
I do agree. So they're gonna come to play. Yeah.
and I think the defense, they're playing pissed off. You as a defensive player, playing pissed off, you can't nobody beat you.
But that's why I think we're gonna be 2 touchdowns because we're gonna play pissed off.
Okay.
I think that Kirby is down there right now saying, "Hey, this is the start of a message for next year too." Like I think they're gonna come in pissed off because, want to be honest, we got pushed around.
Alabama came in with what they wanted, and they took it. I give it to you.
That's not gonna happen too many more times. Like it's been shown, we're gonna fix it, and Kirby's gonna fix it, and yeah. So that's why I say Florida State pissed off. We're pissed off, and I think the defense is even more pissed off, and I think that's going to be the difference. Our defense is pissed that we can.
But you got a quarterback. That's the shining light, in my honest opinion. You still got a quarterback.
Yes.
You still got a quarterback, and I'm noticing the difference between the NFL and college.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can survive in the NFL not without a quarterback, but with a second or third string. As you can see, Brock Purdy, who is Mr. Irrelevant, has now become the most relevant quarterback in the NFL. And now when you look at college, you know, when Florida State dropping somebody, it just changes the whole trajectory of the team and where they're going.
Why is that though? Because a couple of years ago, you know, there was some stat quarterback rooms, you know, like.
So I had this argument with I wouldn't say an argument, but I had this discussion with my wife. We talk about sports often.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about the NIL. And
Right.
I was explaining how the NIL has leveled the playing field for schools like, let's say, in Arkansas, let's say UAB.
Yeah.
And even down, and we've even seen it at Benedict, Tuskegee, Clark, Allen University. I've seen it even on the D2 level.
Okay.
And so now that the NIL is starting to level out the playing field, you have situations like Alabama, like a lot of the blue bloods, they're losing a lot of the number one talents.
Mm-hmm.
They're losing a lot of those number one talents. Like you said, there were stacked quarterback rooms. Joe Burrow was at one point an Ohio State Buckeye. Go figure.
First to field.
Right. You know, so I feel like now we're gonna see more parity in college football where people are gonna not only just enter the transfer portal just because their coach don't like me, but they're gonna go for their chances. They're gonna go for their opportunities. They're gonna try to pick their spots. Now, if you were in this day and age, would you have considered? And I know that if any Georgia fan or Georgia alumni watching, I'm not saying that he would leave. I'm just asking. Could you see yourself using the transfer portal at some point?
Not gonna lie, it would have been on my mind. It would have been at top of my mind because now it's the norm. It's the norm to transfer. It's the norm to, oh, if it's not working out, let me leave. It's the norm to for be like, okay, well, I don't like you said, I don't like this coach. I don't like how things going. Let me go ahead and try another spot. It wasn't the norm back then, and actually, I think it was frowned upon because it seemed like you're giving up or you're not following it through. So, but there were some cases back then where it was the right move for players, but majority of the time it was like, oh, you just can't handle it or you just can't make it here.
You can't hack it. You can't hack it for sure. For sure. Does that make players softer nowadays? I mean, we're dealing with the new generation. I mean, of course, you've already been to the league, you've already been to college, you've done it. And now you are imparting your wisdom on the next generation. Does it make them softer? You know what I mean? Or does that change your coaching style?
It definitely has changed my coaching style. I do have to approach the kids in a different manner and a different tone sometimes, but my message and my core beliefs is still the same. Hey, you're gonna work hard. You feel me? You work hard, you do what you're supposed to do, everything else is gonna come. And if you don't work hard,
you get out of it. Yeah. Now looking into the Florida State game again, he said you said 14 points. I'm gonna remember this because I'm gonna dial back on this on the 30th, and I'm gonna check and see. I at least see Florida State covering the spread. I at least see this being a decent game. I do not see a blowout like Georgia versus TCU last year. I mean, and that was another thing that a lot of people kept bringing up. Let's not forget, TCU beat Michigan.
Right.
TCU beat Michigan.
Yes.
Let's stop using the TCU thing. They ran into a buzzsaw with Georgia, simple and plain. But let's not just talk about TCU as if they were a Rudy Poo. You know what I mean? Like they beat Michigan.
They weren't Rudy Poo. They weren't Rudy Poo. We were just on our game. We were focused. We were locked in, and we knew what we had to do. And
it's so many arguments I got for this. Look, I'm locked and loaded. We can go a whole nother 17 minutes because I am locked and loaded with arguments. Florida State should be should be in the playoffs, man, for real.
Would you want Florida State to go and get blew out?
I don't care.
You just want them there just
because you know what? Because again, I don't want there to be a notion that the SEC runs college football. I've heard
it's already out there. It's already
of course, it's already there. It's already out there. There's nothing I can do about it. Right. It's just my personal feelings. I just, I ain't gonna hold you. It's just my personal emotions in this. I'm gonna argue it down to the lights come to the cows come home. But it's nothing that I can do. And yes, the SEC is the darling. But I ain't gonna lie. I felt like Nick Saban paid somebody. He said, "If we win this game, damn it, y'all better make sure we in that playoff."
Oh man, and what does Nick do? What does Saban do when his back is against the wall?
He wins. Simple and plain. He wins. I give him that. He is the resurrection of Bear Bryant. I'll just tell you that. He is the physical manifestation of what Alabama stands for. So I can't even say nothing to it. I can't even say no. But you know what, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Alphamale Sports. I am he is I, and I am him. I am he. They call the Alphamale, all that good stuff. We got DeMario Mentor in the building, and we have just got done talking about this floor. And finally, we can put it to rest this year. Everybody's going to their prospective bowl games.
Yep.
We can put it to rest. But y'all know how I feel. Florida State should be in the playoffs. Take it easy, brother. Thank you, man.
Yes, appreciate it. Always a pleasure.
God bless. Yeah. Of course, that was me, DeMario Mentor. Again, just going into the whole college football playoffs. And I got a couple other people I want to bring on too. I don't know of any Washington. I think the only person I know of is Andy Bunker. It'd be interesting to see if I can get him. But of course, I got DeMario Mentor. Definitely want to talk to him again leading into his game. But those that are in the top 4, got to talk to my man Griff, one of the biggest Michigan fans ever. One of the biggest Michigan fans. Got to talk to a Texas fan. Got to talk to, of course, an Alabama fan, which you can just throw a rock and it'll hit somebody and they're an Alabama fan. So trust me, that wouldn't be too hard to find. And yeah, that's what that goes. Also over the weekend, now that I'm back with you guys, you are listening to Alphamale Sports. Major shouts out to Jaden Daniels. He is now the 2023-2024 Heisman Trophy winner. 3,812 yards passing, 40 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Get that, 40 touchdowns with 4 interceptions. You got a 95.7 QBR, total QBR. He beat out, Paxton for Washington. He beat out, Bo Nix. He beat out Bo Nix. I mean, he had a stellar season down at LSU. I didn't see their season. You know what's so interesting with college football? You got to tune in and hone in on a specific team. But I've been told, man, this guy's just been incredible. He had a great season, did a great job, man. So major shouts out to him, and just shout out to him for winning the Heisman Trophy. And just winning a Heisman Trophy and moving on. I really thought Paxton was going to win it. On Penix. I'm sorry, Penix. I don't know why I want to call him Paxton like John Paxton. Anyway, Penix. Major shouts out to him, man. Just a great job. I thought he would get it. You beat Oregon twice, once during the season, another time for the conference championship. I'm sorry, but that is Heisman Trophy. That's Heisman Trophy caliber right there, in my opinion. I just feel like they should have given it to him. But they didn't. That's fine. Jaden Daniels, again, winner of the Heisman Trophy. What I found interesting, though, too, is that during this time, they were showing a lot of what had been going on with him when he was at Arizona State. Teammates said, throw his stuff out. He's sorry anyway. Well, who's eating their words now? Shouts out to him, man. Major shouts out to him. And we will move on from that because it is now time to jump back into the top 5 games the last week that I was talking about. I had 5 games last week that I felt was pivotal to the playoff picture, that was pivotal to the NFL roundup, just kind of how things are going to end up, being as the season progressed. So I'm going to go ahead and go to going to go to the playoff picture, and you are listening to Alphamale Sports. Right now, if the playoffs were to begin today, San Francisco is now in the lead for they are in the number 1 seed with a 10-3 record. Dallas, the number 2 team with a 10-3 record. Detroit, the 3rd team with a 9-4 record. Philadelphia brings up the rest of the guys. 5th seed, 10-3 record. Minnesota with a 7-6. Green Bay with a 6-7. Tampa Bay is now taking over the NFC South, and we'll definitely talk about that because that was one of the games. We're also going to talk about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboy game because that was also something that I wanted to talk about. But the 5 games, right? Of course, was the Browns versus the Jaguars, Falcons and Bucks, Broncos and Chargers, Eagles and Cowboys, Chiefs and the Bills. And I definitely got to talk about the Chiefs and Bills because I got some clips to show you. Over on the AFC side, Baltimore still holding down the number 1 spot with a 10-3 record. Miami at number 2 with a 9-4 record, especially after that debilitating loss on Monday Night Football. We'll definitely get into that shortly. Kansas City, number 3 team with an 8-5 record. Definitely got to talk about Kansas City because we got to talk about something. Cleveland with the number 5 seed. Jacksonville, I didn't mean to jump over them, but they had the number 4 seed. We got to talk about those 2 teams for sure. They were in my top 5 games of the weekend. Pittsburgh, number 6. Indianapolis, number 7. again, still in the hunt. Atlanta is still in the hunt for the NFC. Of course, the Broncos, they're still in the hunt for the AFC. We have a few teams that are still, trying to get there. New Orleans still in the hunt with a 6-7 record. The Giants have now gotten to the hunt with a 5-8 record, ironically. Seattle, they're still in the hunt with a 6-7 record as well, along with Los Angeles. A lot of 6-7 teams. Like I said earlier in the year, it's going to be a lot of parity. Not too many teams breaking apart, because even those that did break apart, ergo the Eagles, they went 10-1 until losing the last couple of games. But those guys, they were setting themselves apart until Dallas and San Francisco started to close the gap. As a matter of fact, even Detroit, they're bringing up the rear, trying to get to that double-digit win column. But not too many teams are going to be, pulling apart. I just didn't see that. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it. First game that I was really honing in on was the Jags and the Browns. Jags at the time were 8-4. Browns at the time were 7-5. And I said that it was time for Jacksonville to step up and to set themselves apart. It is time not even just set themselves apart, but look into possibly positioning themselves to, end up with a just position themselves to end up with, either a first round bye or at least hosting a game. Now they're still hosting a game at home. They're still in the just in the vicinity of that, right? So let's go ahead and go to that game really quickly. Oh, go back. Here we go. And you are listening to Alphamale Sports, ladies and gentlemen. He is I and I am him. So the Jags fell to the Cleveland Browns 27-31. What was so heartbreaking for the Jazz was the amount of turnovers. Again, in any sport other than baseball, because you can't have turnovers in baseball. You can leave people on base. You can be in a position to score and then it be taken away from you. So maybe that, but you can't have a turnover there. In basketball, football, they're turnovers. And what was unimpressive, again, for Trevor Lawrence, coming off of an ankle injury that he suffered prior to this game, the previous week. Trevor Lawrence was 256 yards passing, 3 touchdowns for 3 interceptions, sacked 4 times for 22 yards. Total QBR was 48.1, and his rating was 65.2. Totally unimpressive. And again, you got beat by a guy that came off the street, Joe Flacco. I mean, really, Joe Flacco. Cleveland Browns had been trying to decide whether or not, who they can choose for their quarterback position. Would you go young and go with somebody that has, worked his way through the practice squad, through the USFL and the XFL? He's found his way into the NFL. And let's just go with a veteran. They went with Joe Flacco. He was 311 yards passing, 6.9 yards average passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked once. Shouts out to the Cleveland Browns offensive line with a 92 quarterback rating. It was incredible and impressive. And again, just for Jacksonville, they just found it hard to even get it going in the air or on the ground. And this is what me and my wife often like to call it, a trap game. Unfortunately for Jacksonville, it was a trap game. They went into a buzzsaw. And, Cleveland, they're finding ways to get it done as the season wears down. I expected for Cleveland to fall possibly either out of the playoffs completely, because I still feel like Denver has a chance. They're still winning. They're still setting themselves up. They're still, doing what they can do to get the job done. Let me stop stuttering. But that's just how I see it, and I find that to be more impressive. Shouts out to the like I said, the Broncos, man. Let's go ahead and jump into that really quickly. The Broncos took on the Chargers, and I said earlier last week, again, the Broncos, just to be in good position in the playoffs, or possibly even find themselves in the playoffs. You got to remember, these guys started off 1-5 this season. and since then have started to turn the season around. Russell Westbrook is doing a great job. Not Russell Westbrook. Russell Wilson is doing a great job this season. Again, putting his team in essentially on his back. Broncos won 24-7 against the Chargers, and that was really impressive. Again, Russell Wilson, 21 for 33 passing, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And it does help that they're playing against a team that does not have their starting quarterback. So, you know, if you look at the Broncos and their remaining schedule, I don't want to go to the NHL. Go back. You're listening to Alphamale Sports. But if you the Broncos, their remaining schedule of the season, and I'm gonna pull that up really quickly. Last 4 or 5 games of the season, you got the Lions, you got the Panthers, Chargers again, and then you got the Raiders. My honest opinion, you can go 3-1. You can go 3-1, possibly end up with a 10-6 record, which is impressive. Again, you started off 1-6, 1-5. You got drums by 70. You had a 70 burger put on your head by the Miami Dolphins at one point this season, and it started to look bleak. But shouts out to those guys for getting it done and finding ways to win. Just finding ways to win. And again, I am very impressed by that. We got to talk about this. The Atlanta Falcons, took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, this was a game where the Atlanta Falcons had no excuse for losing. Just simple and plain. The Falcons had no earthly excuse for losing this game. You hold number 1 position in the NFC South. As a matter of fact, you are undefeated in the NFC South until Sunday. Sunday, the Atlanta Falcons took on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Atlanta at home. Unfortunately, they fell to the Buccaneers 29-25. Missed field goals, turnovers. It just doesn't work. Next 4 games for the Atlanta Falcons, you got the Saints again the Saints again in New Orleans. Let's start from the beginning. You got the Panthers next week in Charlotte. You got the Colts back at home on the 24th, right before Christmas. The Bears on the 31st, and then on the 7th of the new year, you got the Saints. I'm not going to say whether I believe or not. Again, if they do not make the playoffs, something has got to change. Someone has to face the music. And I've been saying it. I feel like as a coach, it's just been lackadaisical on everybody's end, just to be completely honest. But we'll move on from that. I got this now. The clip I wanted to show you really quickly, which is freaky, but it's funny at the same time. I mean, seriously, it's freaky, but it's funny at the same time. Y'all check this out. This doesn't go into the top 5 games that I chose, but this is pretty interesting.
Sir, I was wondering, did you happen to catch the professional football contest on television last night?
No, I didn't.
Oh, it was most exhilarating. The Giants of New York took on the Packers of Green Bay. And in the end, the Giants triumphed by kicking an oblong ball made of pigskin to a big H. It was a most ripping victory.
You on drugs or something? You gotta finish the line. You gotta finish the scene. I'm a movie buff, so that was really cool. 80 back in 88, 36 years ago, that turned out to be somewhat true. So that's pretty cool. They foreshadowed that. They foreseen it. Major shouts out to Eddie Murphy and Coming to America, one of my favorite movies. But the game that I wanted to point out, the next game, of course, is the Chiefs versus the Bills. The Bills, they ended up getting the win. So major shouts out to the Bills. Give them a round of applause. They got a lot of flack. But check this play out, because it really sets the scene with what the Kansas City Chiefs have been dealing with all season.
Here they come again. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage as the pass is to an open Travis Kelce, who flings it back over to Tony. My goodness, this is going for a touchdown.
Major shouts out to Kadarius Toney for the Kansas City Chiefs. But something that I don't know if you all saw, but he was offsides. He lined up offsides. And as the game progressed, well, not as the game progressed, because that was the last play of the game, Patrick was upset, noticeably upset as the game winded down. He was pissed because he said, our receivers, they're working really hard, and he knows the notion of what the receivers are facing. They have dropped balls and they're not catching anything and all this hoopla. But I really feel like it's time to call out the receivers. In all honesty, I feel like it's time to call out the receivers. Do I feel like the play call was wrong? No. You lined up off sides. And quiet as it's kept, he's lined up off sides 3 times other than that during the game. So, that's just, it's unfortunate. I don't like it for Kansas City, but they're not my team, first of all. But second of all, it just shows where they are. We know the Kansas City Chiefs to be the world beaters that they have become. You got Patrick Mahomes, you got Travis Kelce, you got what is his name, Johnson on the defensive line. They've had a lot of good guys and stars come through that team, and unfortunately, right now they're finding it tough to stay on top of the NFL world because their receivers aren't catching the balls and they're making mistakes. They're making pivotal mistakes that is putting the team's future in jeopardy.
It should. It's obviously tough to swallow. Not only for me, but just for football in general. Just to take away greatness like that. For a guy like Travis to make a play like that, and who knows if we win. But as I know, as fans, you want to see the guys on the field decide the game, and that's why last week I didn't say anything about the flag that didn't get called on the Marquez. And so, they're human, man. They make mistakes.
Again, I feel like Patrick Mahomes was leaning towards saying they made a mistake or they made a bad call or that they, the refs ill-advised. I don't know where his mindset was going with that. But again, something as simple as getting the right alignment. Again, this is from a former athlete. It's imperative that you do the little things. Everything on the football field matters. Every small thing that happens on the football field, from lining up on side, from listening to the cadence, from running left instead of right, from running up instead of down, it matters. And you look at the tape, you see that the circle was around him. They even showed the clip. He pointed at the ref. He did not acknowledge with the ref, am I on side? Now I've taken the classes, and I've did it for a year, refereeing, and I've learned that, hey, if I'm the ref or I'm the line judge, I need to make sure that everybody's on side. But they also have a responsibility as players. Wide receivers, it's not cute to just point to the ref as if he get me, he understand. No, acknowledge with the ref, hey, I'm on side. Big win by like I said, big win by those guys. But again, man, the Eagles and the Cowboys, my assessment with that game, turnovers are going to kill you. Simple and plain. Turnovers are going to kill you. The Eagles, they were in great position to make great plays or even tie the game up or keep up with Dallas. But at a certain point, the turnovers were killing them. Stephon Gilmore was giving that work. Was giving that work to the receivers of the Eagles. And again, just simply and plain, the Eagles are still the Eagles. They still have a very dominant defensive line. They still have a very dominant offensive line. I do believe that they're going to try to find a way to get back into the number 1 seed. There are games left. There are games left. I know that the Eagles have 2 games versus the Giants coming up this season. Well, last 4 games of the season. There are a lot of games left for these guys. So there is still a chance. Again, there's the 3-way tie for the number 1 seed in the NFC altogether. That is between Dallas, San Francisco, and the Eagles. So major shouts out to them. But you already know what time it is. It is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alphamale. Listen, I got to get up out of here, but I will wrap back with you guys again on Friday. I'm going to chop it up with you guys leading into this upcoming weekend in football and to my vacation. Peace. I'll definitely rap back with you guys before that happens. So, hey, man, it is me. He is I, and I am him. I am he that they call the Alpha Male, and I will holler at you later. Peace.